Okay, so you want to talk Tezos, huh? This white paper you sent over is, well, it's a lot.
It's a dense one, for sure. Lots to unpack.
It definitely seems like a whole different beast in the crypto zoo.
Right. And that's putting it lightly. This whole self-amending thing, that's a pretty radical idea.
Yeah, a blockchain that can basically rewrite its own rules.
Wild.
Before we dive into all that, though, I think we need to back up a bit. For the folks just tuning in who maybe haven't gone full crypto nerd yet.
Definitely. Blockchain basics coming right up. Think of it like, a giant public spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet.
Okay, maybe not the most exciting analogy, but it is about tracking information. Every transaction gets recorded as a block and then chained, that's the blockchain part, to the one before it, so it's all secure and tamper-proof.
Gotcha, so that's how Bitcoin uses it. But Tezos, it's not just about recording stuff, is it? This is about how the system itself can actually evolve.
Exactly. Most blockchains, once they're up and running, that's pretty much it. Set in stone.
Hmm.
Changing something would be, well, a nightmare. But Tezos flips the script. It lets users actually vote on upgrades to the system itself.
Hold on. So instead of some central authority calling the shots, it's the users who get to decide.
You got it. And it's all done through a super secure and transparent process outlined in, you guessed it, the white paper.
So it's like adaptable cryptocurrency. It's kind of blowing my mind right now.
No, right? And that's just scratching the surface. This idea of algorithmic checks of constitutionality blew my mind too.
Wait, what now? Checks of constitutionality. Sounds intense, even for a deep dive on blockchain.
I told you it was wild. Think of it like this. The Tezos blockchain has a set of core rules, right? Like a constitution, but for digital money.
Okay, I'm following. So what do these checks actually do?
They're like safeguards. They make absolutely sure that any changes proposed by the users, they can't mess with those fundamental rules.
Wow. So it's like having a built-in system of checks and balances, but instead of a government or something, it's all powered by algorithms.
Exactly. And all agreed upon by the community. It's a whole new way of thinking about governance, but in the digital world.
Okay, that is seriously cool. But let's be real, this is just the tip of the iceberg with Tezos.
Yeah.
This white paper is jam-packed. One thing that really jumped out at me was this whole follow the coin concept.
Yes, the follow the coin.
Yeah.
A classic. It's how Tezos incentivizes people to participate and, crucially, keeps everything secure.
So who gets to add new blocks of transactions, or mine, as I've heard it called, with other cryptocurrencies? And of course, who gets to earn those sweet, sweet rewards?
Right, but here's the catch in Tezos. It's not just about who has the most coins.
Wait, really? I thought that was the whole point of crypto get rich quick.
It's way more nuanced than that, thankfully.
Yeah.
The way Tezos does it, well, let's just say it levels the playing field a bit and makes it a lot more fair.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more. How does Tezos actually decide who gets to mine then?
Buckle up, because this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So how Tezos handles mining, or baking as they call it, it's all about preventing those sneaky attacks that can happen with other cryptocurrencies.
Attacks. Like digital heists? Okay, now this is getting good.
Think of it more like manipulation. Some folks with deep pockets, they could try to game the system, right?
You're right, because they've got the cash to throw around.
Exactly. But Tezos, it spreads out the power a bit more, makes it way harder to pull a fast one.
So it's like it's building in some checks and balances from the get-go.
You got it. It's all about making the system more secure and fair for everyone involved. But speaking of fairness, we should probably touch on that whole inactive account thing. That had some people a little, shall we say, on edge.
You're telling me, when I first read that part about accounts getting deleted after a year, I was like, hold up, this is real money we're talking about.
It was a bold move, no doubt. The idea was to keep things efficient, prevent the system from getting bogged down with a bunch of dead weight. But yeah, the feedback was mixed, to say the least.
I bet. Not exactly the best PR move for a brand new cryptocurrency. Join Tezos, but don't dare take a break from trading.
Luckily, the Tezos folks are pretty good at listening to the community. They've since updated things.
Okay, good, good. So no more digital disappearing acts. What happens now?
So now, if your account's inactive for a while, you won't lose everything. You just might lose your staking rights.
Yeah.
It's a way to encourage participation without, giving everyone a heart attack.
Staking rights.
Right.
So that's your chance to earn rewards for helping verify transactions.
Exactly. It's like losing out on interest payments, not your entire savings account. Much less scary.
Much less scary. I like that. It seems like the Tezos team is trying to find that balance, pushing the envelope, but also, not going totally off the rails.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing, because they've got some really ambitious ideas in this white paper.
Yeah.
especially when it comes to smart contracts.
Okay, yeah, we've got to talk about those because honestly, the term smart contract always throws me for a loop. Like, are we talking about robots signing documents now? What's going on here?
It might sound like sci-fi, but it's really not that complicated. Think of a smart contract as a digital agreement. But here's the kicker. It's written in code and stored on the blockchain.
So instead of lawyers and paperwork, it's all algorithms and ones and
You
zeros.
got it. And here's the best part. Once a smart contract is set up, it can execute transactions all by itself, no middleman needed.
No middleman. So you're telling me I could like buy a house with a smart contract and skip all the realtor fees?
Well, maybe not a house just yet, but the potential is definitely there. The white paper talks about supply chain management, even digital identity verification. Imagine getting a package, and the moment it arrives, the payment is automatically released to the seller.
Okay, that I can get behind. No more waiting for checks to clear or dealing with those shady online marketplaces.
Exactly. It's about streamlining the whole process and making it more secure.
But hold on a sec. If these smart contracts are so powerful, what's stopping someone from creating a bad one? One that like drains everyone's accounts or something?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, the Tezos folks have thought of that too. They've got something called gas fees.
Gas fees. Is that like what I'm paying at the pump these days?
Not quite. Not
Hmm.
quite, no. Think of it like this. Running a smart contract, it takes computing power, right?
Okay, makes sense.
So gas is basically a way to measure how much power each contract uses. And of course, you got to pay for that gas using Tezos.
Ah, so it's like a built-in speed limit. Stops people from creating these crazy complex contracts that would bog the whole system down.
Exactly. It keeps things running smooth and prevents any one contract from going rogue and hogging all the resources. Pretty clever, right?
Super clever. It's like they thought of everything.
Well, almost everything. Building a system like this, it's uncharted territory in a lot of ways.
True, true. And it makes you wonder about the bigger picture, you know? What happens if this Tezos thing really takes off?
It's a fascinating question. We've talked about the tech, the voting, the smart contracts, but what does it all mean in the real world?
Right, because those are all amazing ideas, but actually getting people to use it, to trust it, that's a whole other challenge.
100%. It's like you can build the most advanced spaceship in the world, but if nobody knows how to fly it, it's not going anywhere.
Perfect analogy. So education is key.
Absolutely. And not just education, but making the whole experience, user-friendly.
Yeah.
If people don't understand how to use Tezos, they're not going to bother. It's got to be simple, intuitive.
Okay, that makes sense. But for those who are willing to put in the time to learn the ropes, what's the potential here? What's the big, crazy future that Tezos is pointing towards?
I think that's what's so exciting about it. This isn't just about a new kind of money. It's about a whole new way of thinking about how we interact, how we do business, how we govern ourselves. It's about putting power back in the hands of the people.
Wow. That's a pretty powerful statement. So, for our listeners out there, the ones who've stuck with us on this wild ride into the world of Tezos, what's the one thing you want them to remember?
I'd say this. The future is not set in stone. It's being written right now. And technologies like Tezos, they're giving us the tools to shape that future.
So, don't just stand on the sidelines, get involved.
Exactly. Dive in, ask questions, experiment. Who knows? You might just change the world.
Love it. And on that note, I think we've earned ourselves a break from the digital deep dive.
Agreed. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring and keep those brain cells firing.